Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Banerjee. I'm the Vice President of Strategy for Netcracker. Welcome to my session. I'd like to talk a little bit about 5G monetization at scale. I think when we look at the operator community today, the biggest investment, as well as I think the biggest expectation, is coming from 5G. So in my presentation, I'd like to talk about some of the use cases, what's needed to make this 5G a success and a revenue generating opportunity for service providers across the globe. Now with emergence of 5G, increased power at the edge, and obviously partner enabled services that pretty much all operators really talk about. And obviously that means providing a diverse level of services across multiple verticals. There is a scope for major innovation for operators. And to do that, I think the adoption of platform economy, adoption of cloud, as well as working with partners across different industry verticals, all of that becomes a massive, plays a major important role. So we know that the 5G transformation is currently underway. If you look at pretty much any of the operators across the globe, that's something most operators are involved in. So we see obviously dynamic services, we see adoption of multi-access edge compute or MEC, cloud native or adoption of cloud obviously becomes a fundamental underpinning. Managing complex partnerships to enable a B2B2X type of relationship becomes important. Above all, it's always at the end, it's always about customer experience, providing a real-time digital first interaction, providing or incorporating AI or machine language to be able to provide the right services to the right consumers or enterprises at the right time. We have seen, having worked with some of the real trailblazing operators across the world, such as Rakuten, how adoption of new loyalty schemes play a very important role in the success of some of these 5G programs. And obviously advanced care, dealing with operator, dealing with the consumers or enterprise to provide them the best services, that never loses importance. That always becomes very critical. Obviously that means providing a multi-conventional or a multi-dimensional BSS systems becomes important. Being able to provide an end-to-end automation from sales lead to operations to service provisioning and service assurance becomes important. And obviously all of that needs to be intelligence driven. So what becomes critical is to be able to adopt a modernized BSS and OSS to make this all a reality for the operators. Now, we have seen the focus around 5G evolving. What started off with offering faster speeds to the market, connectivity, such as fixed wireless access and others, as well as obviously some of the consumer services around AR and VR related gaming, etc., has suddenly, if we look at 5 years down the line, and this study has been done by Omdia and Heavy Reading, and there's similar studies done by other industry analyst houses as well, the focus of 5G has been evolved, or the projected evolution is towards addressing new markets and new services. So what that means is operators working with other industry verticals, creating a platform economy context where they are not the only ones who are creating these innovative services, but they're working with partners to make this more of a reality. Obviously, sliced-based charging models, creating slices, or to be able to provide ultra-low latency services for industry verticals. All of that becomes very critical. So, from a consumer, the focus has been evolving towards more of a B2B or enterprise-centric services. And I think we see that across the board, across the globe, where that becomes very critical. And enterprise or B2B is looked upon as the services that will enable operators to make profit when it comes to 5G services. Now, let's look at what's needed to make this a reality. When we talk about 5G, there are different parameters which comes into play. So what that means is that the complexity of BSS or revenue management needs to evolve. Whether we are looking for slice request attributes, where network slicing information coming from, which covers latency, geography, security analytics, and all these plethora of information, or the type of devices, because it's not just your cell phone, it could be your telemetry devices, it could be vehicles, it could be a home care, it could be security, it could be medical instruments, all of that. So it's evolving. It's not just about cell phones. It's not about your wireline phones anymore. Obviously, we talked a bit about partner ecosystem. What does it mean in terms of revenue share? How do you create the right contracts between partners? How is it more profitable? How do you onboard your partners very, very quickly? All of these plays a very important role. And obviously, session parameters, thresholds, resource management, usage time, coverage areas, all of these parameters makes overall revenue management much more complex than what it used to be in the past. So you need the right type of BSS in play to be able to handle these challenges. And in order to be able to do that, it's not just just looking at a one-time or a subscription or just a split charges, or I will deal with partner management separately and I will deal with revenue management separately. I think those don't work very well. All of these needs to be part of one BSS platform so that you can provide the right, not only provide the right services, but be able to bill, charge, and invoice and settle for all these different things based on all these various parameters. Now, end-to-end partner lifecycle management becomes very critical. Faster onboarding, creating the activation parameters, being able to provide contract management, license management, settlements, all of that, flexible multi-party settlement models, all of that plays a very, very important role. And it's not restricted to just that I'm going to help with SDN NFV providers, but you have to work with the cloud providers, the value-added service providers, SDN NFV providers. There are other vertical industries which it could include IoT providers, as well as automobile industries or the healthcare industry, financial industries, all of that. And to be able to make this all work seamlessly becomes not only a challenge, but something which operators have not really done well in the past. So this is new for them. How to do this more and more effectively. A lot of unconventional mechanisms come into play. So for example, partner onboarding, that needs to be quickly done very, very soon. And if you need to do that, can you bring in things such as blockchain to create those contracts, or the smart contracts as part of that? Can we use alternate forms of payment? Can we go beyond your traditional payment models to bring alternate payment models, such as the Bitcoin, maybe bring in cryptocurrency, bring in other forms of payment as part of this? How quickly can you enable partners to onboard? How do you settle for it? Also, how do you measure their performance across this value chain? So all of that needs to be part of it. So historically, we used to look at partner management separately and revenue management or invoicing very separately. All of this needs to be part of the next generation of BSS. It's about real-time charging model. It's about partner management. It's about obviously your traditional BSS functionality, such as invoicing, billing, settlement, and all of that. Customer experience, obviously, as always, becomes the foundation for any success of any business model, providing the omni-channel customer engagement, because now the non-traditional models obviously are enhancing, right? We used to have web, we used to have self-service, and we used to have mobile apps. It's gone beyond that. How about using a gaming console as a mechanism to provide the services? How about using virtual reality equipments to be becoming a channel for engagement? So all this becomes important. Digital identity, customer profile management, all that becomes very critical, because all that is spread across different devices, different touch points. But you make sure that it all aligns and points to the right customer, to the right segmentation, to the right offers, to the right people. AI-driven personal and real-time insights, next best offer, next best action. How do you do that based on AI-driven, personalized? People have less time or patience. So providing the right contextual offer and personalized real-time insights becomes absolutely critical. I did talk about loyalty management in a little bit before. This is a very important area. It's not just creating your normal loyalty programs. It's about industry vertical agnostic loyalty management programs. We have done this with Rakuten, where any point that you accrue can be used across different verticals. And in that case, we are working with 70 vertical industries. So it's about accruing point, let's say, in a retail context, and using that for a car sharing kind of a thing, or using a communication service and accruing points on that and using that for traveling or for insurance purposes. So there is no walled garden here. It's kind of diverse. It spreads across different industry verticals, and it becomes more useful, and that becomes the universe where operators stay within. Think about this as you have one ID. You go in and you accrue in all your transactions, be it your grocery, your insurance, your financials, your communication services, and being able to use the points that to accrue across all these different industry verticals. With 5G, with more vertical industries coming into play, these kind of business models, these kind of programs will become all the more crucial. So when we talk about digital BSS, in our view, it's across the customer management, the customer engagement. So looking at your digital first omni-channel engagement, obviously unified product management strategies, not your communications product anymore. It's about communications products. It's about your value-added services. It's cloud services. It's maybe as an NFV services. Could be retail services, financial services. It's a mixture of all of these things. So create a unified product management strategy which goes across all of these becomes very critical. Cloud native architecture becomes obviously essential when we are talking about 5G, or when we talk about cloud-centric distributed models. In order to be able to scale on demand, in order to be able to charge for ultra-low latency services which are close to the edge, the overall understanding or overall elements of cloud native architecture becomes very critical. Enabling a digital partner ecosystem and enablement, because we are talking about a cross-industry, cross-vertical, different industries coming together to provide those innovative services. Convergent revenue management, and obviously advanced analytics, all of that comes together, and that all creates the foundational pillars to have the right BSS in place to help operators make money from 5G. Let me go through a couple of scenarios where I think where we are using, what we are seeing across our customers. Many of our customers are engaged in either trials, friendly customers, or full-scale deployment of certain services around 5G. And I just picked a few, which I thought were kind of interesting. So let's go through that very quickly. First one is more about a data sponsorship. So new monetization opportunity. Obviously, the holy grail is to be able to create the right customer experience and to provide them additional and attractive options. And obviously, the pricing scenario, the flexibility around pricing scenarios for the operators, or in this case, our customer, to innovate and to make money. So it's not flat rate. You want to be able to play with the pricing scenarios. The flexibility is very important for innovation here. So at a high level, think about it this way. If let's say a customer and the operator here watches Netflix. Now there are three different ways of doing it. One is, like a lot of people do, which is it has a customer subscription and it uses it as an over-the-top play by connecting through Wi-Fi and then going through and watching Netflix, which is, let's say, which is attached to slice one, more of a standard quality video. The next, so that's the normal model where operators is just the connectivity provider, nothing else. Now, let's say operators want to innovate, and in this case, the operator have a partner. Let's say there's an advertising partner. Let's say a T-shirt or a watch, or could be anything else. The customer has an understanding with Netflix, and also they're providing a 4K video option. In this case, if somebody chooses a 4K video option, they are automatically attributed to slice number 2, which is the high quality enhanced mobile broadband slice, where they can watch that for $5 an hour, or they can use a sponsorship ad and be able to and allow themselves to watch that or opt in for that particular ad. And in this case, the first 1 hour will be free. In that case, the revenue sharing happens between different parties, right? The first 1 hour, because it's free, the CSPs are getting paid by the advertiser who provides that 1 hour comp, and that's an understanding between them. And as they go along into the next hours, it could be different models. There is a revenue share relationship between Netflix and as well as the operator, because if they're on a 4K video, operators are prioritizing the traffic so that the customers get a better experience of their high quality video. So different ways of doing it. So one is obviously just being the connectivity provider, which is option one. One is going to 4K video, paying $5 an hour. The third, sponsored part of it, so sponsorship banner, etc. And you have to watch ads and stuff, but it's been comped by the CSP partner, which could be a T-shirt provider, it could be a watch, it could be a pizza company, it could be anybody like that. So slice-based differentiated charging model, obviously partner onboarding, and you can see how seamlessly the whole partner engagement model plays very closely with revenue management. How synchronized this whole plays is very, very seamless, where you're bringing this all together. Obviously, the operations model, how do you attribute a customer to the particular slices and enhance the quality of experience and do the boosting or the transfer, the whole service management play comes into action. Let's look at another example. In this case, it's about cloud gaming. So providing a dedicated slice for cloud gaming provider and provides a new monetization opportunity, and how that helps operators provide a much more flexible subscription and pricing based option in this case. So in this case, let's think about a customer who can buy a gaming service, either through the service provider directly or through the gaming provider who has an agreement with the service provider themselves, who's the 5G enabler here. So you're talking about a mobile gaming, right? You're playing that with a mobile device. You are outside your home. You want to play that game. You can buy that subscription through the gaming, go through CSP. There is an understanding with the cloud gaming providers that whenever they leave the house, they provide them connectivity on the go. And there are different plans for play. One is the advanced plan, which has got per hour charging, or you have a pro gamer plan. It's a little bit more expensive. And you get better services. Now, if you have been a gamer, like my kids are, then you will know that latency plays a very important role here. So the CSP here in this case is the 5G enabler as well as the edge cloud provider. They're providing two different slices. One is of a slice 1, which is 4K quality, 20 milliseconds latency, plan advanced. The pricing is a little low. The other is the programmer, which is ultra low latency slices with 10 milliseconds latency. Obviously, if you're an avid gamer and you are competing with other gamers, and they're all, multiplayer gaming sessions, and you want to play around and compete with other players, that is more, the slice 2 becomes more exciting because of the latency requirement and the speed and the boost and all of that. So again, a revenue share relationship where it is the service providers, the cloud gaming provider, are also giving options to the end customer, whether they're using advanced or pro gamer model of charging. And based on that, different slices are attributed so that this plays into, across all the different parties come together. So revenue sharing with the cloud gaming provider, you have the partner onboarding, partnership agreement management, the entire partner lifecycle management, all of that comes together in this scenario. Let's look at a network slices service, for example. So it's a dedicated slice for a TV company, for example, for on-demand event broadcasting. Provides new level of viewing experience and obviously flexible pricing options. So in this case, let's say the service provider X, and they are working with corporate, I would say, let's say studios, for example, like CNN or NBC or whatever. And what they're doing is they're covering a particular event. In that case, you have different billing model because they're looking at these ultra low latency services, 4K broadcasting slices, and all of these different elements. So you have on the left-hand side, the hot standby slice mode where you're paying based on different attributes. So for example, if you want that hot standby mode to be activated in less than 5 minutes, then you are paying a recurring charge of X amount. Less than 10 minutes, obviously the prices goes down as the activation time or the guaranteed response time enhances. Now on top of that, based on quality of services provided for this, there's a charge-based accrued. So let's say CNN covers an emergency event happening for 15 minutes based on guaranteed response time. There's a recurring charge, let's say $499, and they covered that based on high quality of service guaranteed service based on 5G Platinum for X amount of minutes that will be charged, and then you get the total amount that the operator can then charge to the broadcasting companies. And these are the kind of models we see operators now trying out with some of these media companies. Again, onboarding, agreement management, lifecycle management, all of that plays a very important role. And obviously you have mobile app for activation, deactivation. On the studio side, they can do that themselves based on how much time they need to cover that particular event and what kind of response time they're looking for the slice to get activated. Last but not the least, another interesting model is 5G as a service model. So it provides the monetization opportunity, which includes slice-based charging, and obviously business application-based usage charging and so on. So let's take a quick look at it. So in this case, on the left, operator provides everything as a service. 5G slices provides your cloud network functions where you can split out your VCU or VDU for people familiar with Open RAN kind of context, edge applications as a service, as well as SaaS applications like CRM, billing, business productivity services, etc. And it could be consumption on a near edge, or it could be on a public cloud. It could be distributed across different far edge or near edge, as well as data center or public cloud. So it's across those things. And some of the key elements of that, such as onboarding, management, settlement, as well as some of the key functionalities such as CPQ or charging, as well as billing, the retail portal, self-service, e-commerce can also be provided as a service. So on one end, operator provides this 5G platform as a service, and either through a reseller or directly can sell it to an MVNO, for example, who can then use that and then create their own subtenant brands. So in this case, a B2B2X kind of a model, where they're selling it to an MVNO, and then the MVNO has different sub-brands in which they're using this to provide those sub-brands or the sub-tenants these certain services. So these same thing can be sold to a connected car or an e-health kind of a thing. They would need different parameters, they would need different CNFs, they would need different edge cloud services or applications, and so on and so forth. So think of this as an operator, as a 5G service provider, which is not just providing the connectivity services, but the value-added applications and services, and overall much larger marketplace to different types of tenants who can then use it to serve their end customers much more effectively by rebranding it or white labeling it, and so on and so forth. Different models. I gave four examples. Our customers today, they're all in the process of doing some of these different elements of this and doing this. Some of them have already gone live. And I think it provides a fascinating area where we believe 5G has the capability with the right underlying IT applications or the support from a BSS OS standpoint to be a game changer. So in a nutshell, this is something as a Netcracker, we have been working with our about 250 customers globally. We have extensive partnership with some of these third-party providers as well as the cloud players. And obviously, we are helping some of the largest customers across the world to provide this kind of innovative services to their end users. So with that, thank you very much for listening to me. And I would like to wish you all a very successful conference. Again, enjoy the conference. It was great talking to you. Thank you very much.